Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, and why not good wee hour as well. Welcome to the Global Crusade e-Culture for All. This is the conference in English, and after this talk will be in Spanish. This is Telma Rodriguez Morales, director of e-Cultura or Cultural Ring. We are delighted to carry out this global roundup global crusade crossing continents, regions, localities, etc., to contribute to e-culture for all. Well, this initiatives aims to gather sensitive humanity about their ideas, thought, and experiences in the area of e-culture. Although it is organized by the Cultural Ring in Uruguay and Red CUDI in Mexico, it involves all of you. So thank you very much for your sensitivity, motivation, and dedication to the initiative that will continue after this event, collecting your testimonies around the globe. Well, we'll publish your ideas on our social media, YouTube channel, Anisha Cultural, and Facebook Live as well, and including your contribution in the global declaration or global statement on e-culture. Okay. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for the invitees that are connected into the room from Nepal, Europe, Africa, etc., etc. Thank you so much. In this moment, we'll take a few seconds to arrange the virtual space to present the proposal, and of course, to present our dear invitees. Thank you, and once again, welcome to the Global Crusade, e-culture for all. Okay, welcome to the Global Crusade, e-culture for all. This is the roundup showing and gathering the sensitive people. This round will have three parts. One hand, we are going to ask ourselves and share what e-culture and what vision it one of you have about e-culture. Wait a minute. Here. Okay. And the other part, we are going to share our experience of more than 10 years in Anisha Cultural. And finally, in the third part, we are going to have some good guidelines or where this global declaration statement that we are initiating and promoting among all the participants of this online session can be. Okay, here we go with the first part. That's the question are, what does e-culture mean to you? And what is your vision about it? For this reason, we gather in sensitive human beings and as a strategy to contribute to global statement. Okay, here we go with the first contribution. The first contribution will be from Rianne Eisler. He is a pioneer woman, social scientist, and creator of cultural transformation theory. He is president of the Center for Partnership Studies. Thank you so much, Rianne, for sending to us your contribution. And I would like to explain that we were going to read her statement. I recommend to check the graphics and in the side to right to left. Sorry, left to right. And I would like to share the presentation, and meanwhile reading, you can check the graphics and the thoughts and the concept that Rianne Eisler shared with us. The title is e-Culture for All, Foundation for Partnership Public Policy. Rianne Eisler identifies the core component of society that support our positive human capacity for consciousness, caring, and creativity, and on how we can build this kind of society. She said, the e-culture has a major role and responsibility to accelerate this shift to a more equitable, less violent, and sustainable partnership future. Rianne Eisler's new whole system approach identified two social configuration, the domination social configuration and the partnership social configuration. Is the graph in the part of left of your screen. We have to look at the whole picture and the whole system if we are to build a society that is more peaceful and equitable. Using this new lens, we can see that progressive social movements have all challenged the same thing, a tradition of domination. There are four interconnected foundations of either domination or partnership-oriented systems. First is the childhood. The second is gender. The third is economics. The fourth is story and language. Progressive public policy, education, and media must also recognize and educate others to recognize this connection if we are to build the foundation of a better world. We also know that we can create the tools needed to support policies that can move us from domination to partnerships. These tools should be promoted at the base of the e-culture. I would like to mention that the points that Rianne Eisler pointed out. First, changing how we measure economic health. Second, demonstrate that supporting care work can cut through cycles of poverty. Third, implementing a cohesive family policy where care work still done for free primarily by women in families is rewarded, such as affordable and well-paid, high-quality early child care and paid parental leave. Fourth, sharing evidence that investing in caring for people and nature is good for business and society. Fifth, recognizing that economic systems are affected by and in turn affect the larger social system. And last but not least, and once again to point out that the e-culture has a major role and responsibility to accelerate this shift to a more equitable, less violent, and sustainable partnership future. Thank you so much, Rianne Eisler, for your contribution for this event and for your thought and to adapt your theory for thinking e-culture for all. Now, we are sharing the second invitee. Thank you so much, Alfredo Doronchi. He is connected into the room. Alfredo Ronchi is a global referent in e-Culture, member of the Executive Board of Directors of the World Summit Award, and in the IGF and ITU academic community, and a lot of important position, endeavors, projects all over the world. Thank you so much, Alfredo, and I would like to set up your language. Okay, perfect.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are located right now. I am Alfredo Ronchi, professor at Politecnico di Milano. I thank the organizer and chair for inviting me to contribute to this interesting event, the Global Crusade, e-Culture for All. I had the opportunity to merge two of my interests and passions, culture and technology, a long time ago. In the 90s, two emerging technologies appeared as a potential driver to make the e-culture dream alive. They were virtual reality and the web technologies. At global level, G7, at the European level, the Commission invested time and resources to take off a culture. Some of the dreams were to offer the opportunity to virtually visit museums, no more existing palaces and sites, or to reconnect online artifacts that, due to different reasons, are hosted by different institutions, and moreover, to display artifacts that are invisible in physical museums and art galleries because of the lack of exhibit space. Digitization was the key word to enable e-culture. The European Commission included a kind of commitment to digitize a certain number of artifacts within the Memorandum of Understanding on Multimedia Access to Europe Heritage, signed initially by 240 member institutions. Digitization was not limited to documents and paintings, but extended to coins, sculptures, monuments, entire ancient cities, and more. Standards grown up in parallel, so resolution, color palette, data format, and more reached the reasonable level of quality and standardization. This process was neither easy nor cheap, a kind of resistance on the side of museums directors due to the risk to lose visitors and ownership of artifacts. Concerns about the quality of digital twins not respecting the original artifact, charges of Disneyification of culture targeted to virtual reality digital mockups. This, in extreme synthesis, was the past. Nowadays, the focus is on technologies enabling creative people to express themselves, preserving cultural identities and diversities. Digital tools designed to break the barrier between creative and the digital world that enables immediate sharing worldwide of artifacts and co-creation of artifacts. Immersive open environments based on direct interaction of users without the need to wear technology, duly coupled with human-centered authoring tools, will offer the opportunity to share creativity around the world. We cannot assign a specific cultural value to technologies per se. They are useful tools that open new horizons to artists. Cultural identity is an absolute value together with cultural diversity. They mean richness and dynamism. These must be preserved through time, including the relevant outcomes as artifacts and documents. The current cancel culture trend is trying to destroy our history and values, as done by historical decontextualization of facts and events, or the attempt to merge political adversaries and related cultural assets. I thank you very much for your attention.
And thank you, Alfredo Ronchi, for your contribution to this event. The next invitee is the Professor Narku Kwainor from Africa. He is a referent and no need, sorry, but I need to here. Yes, here. Okay. Ninar Kuquainor is known as Africa Internet's father. He is scientist and engineer, professor, and commissioner for the Global Commission on Internet Governance. Thank you so much, Nick Wainor, for your statement and for share your thought about e-culture from Africa.
I am pleased to participate in e-Culture for All. E-Culture means an opportunity to share Africa's rich culture with the world. But it also means making available African cultural life that is becoming forgotten in our rapid migration to a global culture. It also means preservation of dying culture and artifacts online. It also means participation of the diaspora in culture. Africa has a wealth of cultural, intellectual properties in form of music, dance, art, language, literature, fashion, herbs, foods, sports, games, and scientific cultural heritage, among others. The vision is enable global appreciation of African culture and preservation of our cultural heritage online. Bring attention to the need to develop e-culture in internet governance circles and as a vehicle to increase use of internet identifiers. We shall promote cultural presence on the internet, bearing in mind that not all areas are self-sustaining and some would require public interest support. E-culture for more local content, and this will be more inclusion. We look forward to e-cultural engagements and exchanges to share our diversity of cultures worldwide. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Quainor. It's a pleasure to have your statement, and it's a pleasure for me to host you. We continue to collect sensitive humanity and their answer on the question that what is e-culture for you and what is your vision for the future. The next invitee is Asia Salmi. She is a global connector and general secretary at Cumulus International Association, the unique global network focused in arts, design, and architecture. He is connected live here, and I would like to point out, spotlight your participation. Go ahead, Asia. Thank you so much.
Can you hear me? Yes.
Yes.
Good. So warm greetings from warm Finland. Couple of words about what is Cumulus. It's a network of universities in art, design, and media. We were founded in 1990 by the University of Art and Design Helsinki here in Finland, together with Royal College of Art. And over the years, we have grown up to be a network of 360 universities from 66 countries. What we do, it's for sharing knowledge, best and worst practices. I think this is a definition that gives a lot of space for academics, students, business, industry, government, NPOs, etc. to meet and share. We are for, of course, humans. The missions are, of course, as we all are very aware of, SDGs, sustainability, etc. But jumping over to e-culture, a couple of words, and I guess among our audience there is a number of people that are very aware how media education has been part of design education. Like giving an example, me based in Finland, that at the University of Art and Design Helsinki, that is currently a school in Aalto University. Media department was started early 90s. And I've been happy to follow what is the real semantics, or I guess it's a wide semantics of e-culture, that e-culture started giving more and more possibilities for people for connecting. What I have to also say here, e-culture is economy of contribution, like networking is. And I was able to pick up from Rianne Eisler's short presentation intro, thanks massively to that as well, that e-culture, I mean, for a network, for people getting together, it's unpaid community economy, but I'm pretty sure by getting together with this very cost-effective and sustainable way, it brings immaterial to material, for sure. Like designers educated will serve not only online, but also producing products that are 3D. Couple of other remarks I would like to pose to all of us here. I'm happy to continue discussing, not me necessarily myself, but academics and even students, that the semantics of e-culture and how it could be serving like us being together now and sharing knowledge and experiences. The definition of e-culture, I guess you guys know better than me. I'm just throwing my quick imagination and experience to the discussion and development. But e-culture, it's part of the curriculum, and I'm thanking also the terrible period of COVID that universities have been brought more and more together by being able to share knowledge online. So that's also for me, e-culture. Okay, thanks for letting me joining, and I'm happy to follow and contribute further. Warm wishes from Finland, as you can see in the background, a pic from August this year.
Thank you, Eija Salmi, for joining us. It's an honor to host you in this event. And we continue collective, sensitive human beings like Eija Salmi from Finland. Thank you. The next one in BD from Eija Salmi is a contribution from Nepal. He is Shridrip Rayamashi. Thank you, Shridrip, for sending us your video. I would like to set up the subtitles in English. Okay, perfect. Shridrip is connected from Nepal into the room, and it's very nice that you join us.
Namaste from Nepal. This is Shridip Rayamaji from Nepal. And thank you for giving me this opportunity, Delma. It has been around 20 years that I've started engaging in the internet community, and I've got a lot of opportunities to travel to different countries, from Asia to Africa to North America. It has been a pleasure meeting new group of peoples, meeting new group of communities, learning, sharing, and it is more like that is very important aspect of who you are and what you become personally and professionally. I've grown very well meeting and learning, and I think it is this part of meeting people and learning and communicating that I've grown personally and professionally, and I'm so easy to communicate to, and that is where what I have adapted among different groups of people in adapting their culture, in adapting their learnings. Recently I was traveling in Canada. I think it was back then in 2018 or 19, I think. Then I was there for the NASIG, that is North American School of Internet Governance, where I was a participant as speaker. So in one of the sessions, one of the speaker was there. I exactly forgot her name. She was from a remote province in Canada, and I kind of like completed the program, and I was there in the lobby, and she came. She was there waiting there, and I was inquiring about the taxi for the airport, and she kind of like heard me, and she was like very comfortable in talking with me, and offering me the pizza that she had, and I also felt very humbled that she gave me that pizza, and we kind of like connected. We talked about our culture. We and she gave me a lift to the airport because she had certain time, and she was already had booked the cab, and these kind of stories, and during the whole time we talked about the political situation of Nepal, the political situation of her province that was remotely located in Canada, and it was like quite interesting to know more about the culture, and it is so magical that at times of need, when people are there, when people connect, and when people have the same values, that is very important. And another story that I would like to share is during the earthquake in Nepal. We had a lot of crisis situation out here. As you know, I have been very active and vocal about issues. So I was very active about the current then situation in Nepal, and I was quite writing about how food was not reaching the victims in remote locations and things like that. And then we kind of like started our own relief operation. We were connecting people in internet, and some of my friends in Spain, they offered us help, and there was Eva Bustos who kind of like helped me. They were sending food, they were sending necessities, resources, and there was Suzanne Powell, who is a global leader. She also contacted me, and she supported me. And it is so magical. It is so magical when people connect with the cultural values, and it is very important that every time you go and meet new people from different region, it is so different that the values that they bring in, the culture that they bring in, and you kind of like learn how this internet is a global community, and how we should have that tolerance level about understanding, listening to people, and accepting each other, because there is this big gap, when you are limited in Asia, and when you talk about Africa, or when you talk about Latin, those cultures are completely different. As I went to Brazil, I was very happy with the culture, the food culture. That was so important, because here we also believe in food culture. We don't leave our food plates empty. We just give. Our love comes with the food. So that is where that connected me. And when I went to Puerto Rico, the enjoyment, the whole aspect of enjoyment was with the whole community coming in, dancing, enjoying the drinks. The whole scenario was completely different, and it is quite amazing. Amazing when I went to UK. The whole culture there, the clubbing culture is quite different, and you learn so much about the people, their state of mind, their behaviors within the different aspect, and technology has made it so comfortable for us these days to talk to all these people, and learn that different cultures have different values have different norms, and those are what progressively affects us in our leadership qualities, in our communication, in our other daily activities, skills. And I think it is very important for every one of us to know and learn and to meet different people, and these internet community events that are happening helps us to understand the whole global concept of the multi-stakeholder approach, where it is not just about one culture or one country. It is about the whole community, as internet itself is the it is all our property, and we all have to contribute. And that is how that is why it is very important for every one of us to collaborate, to learn from each other, to learn from our cultures, and when we meet people, to show the warmth and to show and share the skills that we have. That is very, very important. Thank you, Delma, for giving me this opportunity, and namaste. That's how we greet in Nepali, and we love food. We love to enjoy. We have momos out here that are quite famous in the whole world. Momos means dumplings, ravioli. Those are with meat, and that is what is very important. And thank you.
Thank you. Shridrip is very nice because Shridrip is a journalist in Nepal. He is activist in the global networks and member of ICANN communities in Asia and member of the Internet Society chapter Nepal. Thank you so much, Shridrip, for showing us and for sharing your being. Thank you. The next one invitee is Jadwiga Czarsinska. He is connected into the Zoom room, and I'd like to point out that Jadwiga is the director in Lasnia Contemporary Arts Center in Gdańsk, Poland. It's a center well known, devoted in new media art, science, technology, and society.
Hello, everyone. It was really nice to see you virtual live, e-Culture, it means. I am running Lasnia Center for Contemporary Art since 2004. And my interest to e-culture and technology starts when first my number of lectures, and especially inspired me Eduardo Katz or Krista Sommerer. They connect in technology with human being and try to connect it in internet, use new technologies. And finally we start organize project, and it was long-term. It is long-term project. We called at Łaźnia Art and Science meeting, and which organized in 2011 in cooperation with Professor Ryszard Kluszczyński, also a recognized person in the world. This project is complemented to the Lasnia CC program, showcasing bioart, cyborg, interactive and robotic art to the public. At the core of the endeavor was the idea verbalized by Charles Percy Snow about the need to build a relationship between human and scientist, and also my prior cooperation with Jasia Reichardt, author of the pioneering exhibition Cybernetic Serendipity, presented at London in 1968. Was also important here. Jasia Reichardt also was tasked with curating the historical nearly human exhibition at Łaźnia on the human fascination of machines and robots. Over the last decade, we have presented many forerunners of this discipline, such Frank Malina, Monika Fleischmann and Wolfgang Strauss, Oron Katz and Jonat Zur, Stellark and Masaki Fujihata. Scientist publication accompanying almost every exhibition are also crucial part of our Art Plus Science meeting program, contributing to the recognizability of the Gdańsk project worldwide. We are the only institution in Poland that regularly presents art and science artists and authors. Since 2020 to 2021, we also cooperate with Ars Electronica Festival in its virtual part as the Ars Electronica Garden Gdańsk. Through years of collaboration with artists and researchers working with new technologies, I came to the conclusion that e-culture is becoming a permanent part of our reality. An example is our exhibition Sensory Orders, which we showed simultaneously in the gallery and in the internet. It was pandemic time. Or a number of other activities created during that time, such as a virtual database of artwork in public space of Gdańsk. The internet, which dates back to 1969, has revolutionized information communication around the world. Especially recent years shown these portals and instant messaging have become a permanent tool in organizing events. Many artists are creating works that function virtually. There has also emerging an art market offering NFT. In conclusion, the world of culture will develop in the virtual space across more boundaries because this is the nature of man, I think. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jadwiga, for sharing your thoughts and for connecting from Poland. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We continue gathering the sensitive humankind. After Jadwiga Czarsinska, we follow with Claudio Alocchio. He's creator of IT tools for e-culture on the internet. He is Italian academic network pioneer. He's senior manager and advisor at technical officer in GAR, Italy. He was recipient with e-Culture Award in recognition for his IT tools, inventions, and collaboration with Cultural Ring 2021. Thank you, Claudio.
So, good morning, everybody. My name is Claudio Allocchio. I work for the Italian Research and Education Network, which is GAR. And there I am formally one of the senior managers, but I always take care of the users. So also the art and humanities people are my users, so that is why I work with them. What is e-culture for me? Well, e-culture for me is two different things which live together very well. One thing is the use of technologies, of new possible medias, new possible services, and so on, that enables people which are working in the art and culture to do things in a different way, to do things that were not able to do before, or to do things better that we are doing before, but now they can do it better because they can use technology and mix with technology. So this is somehow the technical point of view on it. So e-culture is the way that the technology is a tool for the culture, and that helps a lot the culture to develop even further. I mean, the opposite side is to use to create culture out of the technology. So the technology is not a tool, but the technology is a piece of creativity. It's something which enables you to do something new, and it is either a piece of art or a piece of culture or a new drama or whatever, where technology is just one of the elements, maybe the fundamental element. And this is only possible, of course, when the tool has been invented and is out there and is used. And now we can see quite a lot. I mean, we have examples like Ars Electronica or distributed performances, or where the component of technology like lightings, computers, services, etc., are a fundamental piece of the creation. So it is an enable on new things that was not possible before again. So the two things connect together because they enable people to do things better. So that is my two fundamental pillars where I see that e-culture is founded on. How do we do it in what I do every day? Well, I try to do both. I try to enable people with new instrument which they can do something better, which they can do something which was impossible, and I also enable and push people to try to invent something new because now they have a new bicycle, for example, and the bicycle is a technology and they can do it better. And let's say blending of the two things together very often prepares and produces very exceptional results. Things that you cannot imagine that can happens on the stage or in a museum or in the world. So that is essentially my point of view on this topic. In the future, e-culture will grow more and more because now, well, it is not in the beginning, I could say, because it has started already more than 15 years ago, but the future of e-culture will spread all over. People are now used to access culture, whatever it is, using technology. They don't even think they're doing it using technology, but they do every day. They watch, I see people watching a film on a smartphone, which is a stupid idea. The film was made for a large, enormous screen, so you are into the film and not in front of a little device. So the future of e-culture will be a blending of new ways of using culture because of the technology itself, but it will also be something which is getting out of the traditional places. Now you don't need to go to a museum. You can be in the museum even if you are in the middle of a forest, if you have some tools which enable you to go in there. It's a pity because, of course, the fact that you physically go somewhere also adds something which you don't get if you only use technology. So this is a drawback. I mean, people watching, for example, movies all by themselves at home. This is what we always do. Going to the cinema is a different thing, a very different thing. And people are not doing it anymore. So I see this as a danger. So we need to be careful that this danger does not create problems to culture. But it is also an opportunity, of course, because if you live in the middle of a forest, you will never be able to go and listen to an opera, which you can do with technology, even if you are not going to be dressed in a very good way, not going to drink a coffee in the interval of the opera, and so on. So pros and cons. It's a new thing, and as any new things can go well, it can go bad. But I'm optimistic that it will go more well than more bad.
Thank you so much, Claudia Locchio, for connecting with us and for sharing your thought, idea, and your dreams in e-culture. Thank you so much.
Thank you to you.
The next one, EBD, is from UK. Roy Ascott. The professor Roy Ascott is new media artist pioneer, emeritus professor at Plymouth University, president of the Planetary Coalition, and director the Tao Master Academy in Shanghai.
Greetings to you all. I want to speak in the context of emerging AI, multiple identity, variable reality, and our emerging collaborative culture. Art in our future, I think, will be progressively concerned with mind, that is to say, the ownership of mind, the acquisition of mind, the development of mind, the merging of mind. Mind will be both natural and artificial, contained and universal, embodied and at large. This is a complex cultural emergence involving many values, attitudes, methodologies, technologies, and cultures. This kind of universal merging, I think, is inevitable. But I think we have to look to the future both enthusiastically and creatively and productively, but recognizing that without love, all of this, all these possibilities, all these opportunities, and all our creativity will fail.
Thank you so much, Professor Roy Ascott, for sharing your wise ideas. The next one, EBD, is from Japan. Shoichiro Kawaguchi sent his greetings, and in the next day, he will send the video for us. Thank you, Shoichiro, for contacting us and for your motivation with this project. The next one is Tom Gorman. Tom Gorman is connected into the Zoom room. He is telepresent theater director. He is academic and theater director at Coventry University. He is member of the Networking Performing Arts Production Workshop between Europe and United States. And he was recipient with e-Cultura Award in recognition for his international collaboration with Cultural Ring 2021. Thank you so much, Tom, for connecting with us. And I would like to put a spotlight to you.
Hi, I'm going to show a presentation. I'm in rehearsal at the minute with students, so students say hello to everyone. I'm just going to move to a quieter space. Sorry, I'm an academic and a theatre director who has been doing remote work for some years now. So I'm just going to share a presentation with you very, very quickly to kind of talk about my thoughts on e-culture and global connections. So hopefully everyone can see this and hear this. So I'm an academic and a theatre director who, my passion is for making global connections and working internationally using both advanced and not very advanced technologies and occasions. And I just want to share this quote because for me, it's not the technology that's important, is communication, is that often working online for me is the second best way of working. But it's a way of working which is more ecologically friendly, more cost effective, and has the ability for me to bring the actors and the students that I work with together with a global community without the expense to the environment and also without the actual expense. This is an odd slide because it's a slide of a trifle from the American sitcom Friends, where one of the characters was trying to make a trifle, but the page of the recipe book got stuck together, so it was also a shepherd's pie, and she ended up making a cross between a trifle and a savory dish. And I'm using this as an illustration. Is one of the most important things about working together at a distance is ensuring that you're both making the same recipe, that both participants are trying to cook the same dish, which can be very difficult when you work at a distance and you maybe have the participants have never met in person. So what we tried to do was design a rehearsal system that replicated a real rehearsal room as far as was possible, but using technology, in which the technology was to a certain extent invisible, but very intuitive. And this is what we used. We used repurposed technologies. So at the start, we used Polycom video conferencing, which is ubiquitous in offices for business meetings. We used a rear projection screen. We used microphones that tried to recreate the sense of being in a real room. So the further you are away, the louder you have to speak, the way you would in a real space. And we repurposed a lot of old stage technology, like what we used put up sets and to bring the camera really close to the ground to give the impression of a continuous space. But of course, the best laid plans can be thwarted by things such as COVID. And one of the points I'm making about the technology is it has to be intuitive. So the last project we worked on with Tampere in Finland, who are our regular partner who we work with a lot, I caught COVID and tested positive in the room. So this is a Facebook post I left for students where I showed them my COVID test and how to connect remotely with their partners without me. And I also wiped everything down with antiseptic wipes before I left the room and went home to recover from COVID. I'm going to show a very brief clip of how COVID affected the last rehearsal we had, where we had to use a real blend of technology between our quite high-tech system and a very low-tech system. This is just a quick 1-minute clip of the students saying hello to each other.
It's me and Jama from Sweden.
Is it? Yay! High tech meets low tech.
Jalmar is from. Do you want to tell yourself or do I? Is there any? I can't hear you.
I don't know. That's.
Okay,
Hey, we did actually hear that. So, so for me, it's a way of bringing people closer together and a way of making work together. That's the projects we've performed and worked on up to this point. In 2023, we're working with Florida. We don't know on what yet. We just know we're working with Florida. So for me, e-culture and technology is a way of closing the gap between people and making connections. So thank you very much. I'll stop my presentation now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom, for sharing your experiences in telepresent theater. We continue collecting sensitive humankind. And after Tom, the turn is for Khalid Umber. He is consultant and lecturer for technology and innovation management, sustainability, and international relations. He is author of the book Global Networking, Communication and Culture, Conflict or Convergence, the Spread of ICT, Internet Governance, Superorganism Humanity, and Global Culture. I recommend so much this book. Thank you so much, Khalid, for joining us. You are connected from Germany or not?
Germany, yes. Yeah, Germany, yes. Yeah, thank you for having me, Delma, and happy to be with you. Many greets from Germany. It's my pleasure to talk to you about hybrid cultures. Let me briefly talk about 4 T's: time, team, technology, and trust. In order to give you also some preliminary marks on our topic in relation to COVID, first, we already know that we need connection to have somehow getting access to the internet, and half of the population worldwide has no internet connection. So this is a very crucial thing. Cannot do this by any means without money, without education, and without the technology. We need to connect all people all over the world. Second, what we also have learned that not every work is possible online, in particular crafted work like bricklayer, plumber, electrician, waiter, etc. Also in terms of man-machine competition. I do think that these kinds of works will be done still by humans for some decades for sure. And last but not least, the point about the preliminary remarks is how we learn and apply knowledge instantly. Compared to the era before the internet or modern communication tools, we no longer do need to learn things from scratch. We can learn things straight towards our current problems and desires. I think that's an amazing step forward towards humanity. But coming to the point, let me explain to you why we need to understand and know the success factors and design criteria for successful leadership, collaboration, fairness, and performance in the digital or hybrid work environment. I mean, what we need is first a digital mindset. Leadership is here very, very important. Which are our leadership role models in terms of transactional and transformational leadership? Secondly, we need to somehow establish rules for empathic thinking in the hybrid collaboration world. So time and place is very important. Sometimes partly asynchronous organization ensures concentrated, trouble-free competition of tasks according to one's own schedule, which can increase one's own productivity as well. On the other side, this generates sometimes also conflicts if we try to do much. And this can also lead to digital illness and digital stress factors. So trust, good relationship, and mutual trust are prerequisites for good cooperation, family, friends, all those kinds of matters. In the office, I mean, on-site, this happens sometimes and sometimes not. The same applies to the online world. But from my perspective, it's a little bit more difficult to gain trust if you haven't seen a person before and you cannot acquire information, good information from the internet of people, trusted information. So we not only need to trust in people, we also need some trust in the information available out there. And finally, let me conclude my remarks with in the context of globalization and culture, worldwide culture. So the invention of language many thousand years ago was probably most crucial invention behind all inventions in the communication field. I mean, fixed telephony, mobile telephony, and now the internet. We moved our conversation and communication from location-based communication to person-oriented communication tools via our mobile connectivity tools. But it's not clear whether we as humanity will succeed in the foreseeable future to develop a global culture that is more than the sum of all cultures on the world. It's also open to the question of whether a largely digitally networked world society will form a worldwide community constituting a global culture or not. From my point of view, one thing is true. There will be no global culture without a digitally networked world society. So thank you for having me, Dalma.
Thank you to you, Khalid, for joining us. It's an honor, your participation. Thank you. We continue gathering to sensitive humankind. The next one, invitee, after Khalid Umber, is Kerry Tunstall. I would like to point out because he is a exceptional visual artist working with high voltage electricity at laboratory in New Zealand. He was recipient with e-Cultura Award in recognition for his co-creator role in Cultural Ring 2021. Kerry sent us a quote that I am reading, a testimony from Kerry to this event. I haven't shown yet my time working with your team and your project. I enjoyed working collaboratively with the various group parties and especially the inspiration to make artistic collaboration and networks. I found inspiration for a unique perspective on presenting art and culture to the public. the ideas in the previous connection meeting for presenting performance and art with a poly-located performance group with a wide technology range were fantastic, and I hope that others in the field help grow the possibility. Thank you so much, Carrie, for sharing your idea and above all, your experience in Cultural Ring, especially in Co-Creation Lab in the edition 2019. Thank you, Carrie. The next one invitee is Irena Chaurilska. He is coordinator of Polish language, cultural teacher and researcher in the Center of Sustainable Development at University of Gdańsk in Poland.
Hello everyone, my name is Irena Chawrilska. I'm from the University of Gdańsk. I'm the Polish language and cultural teacher and the researcher as well. I'm the coordinator of the program Culture for Sustainable Development in the Center for Sustainable Development at the University of Gdańsk and the director of the Academic Center of Polish Language and Culture for Foreigners at the University of Gdańsk as well. I would like to start by telling you that the culture is the change maker and cultural participation matters in the digital age as never before. The internet and social media offer many exciting and welcome new opportunities for culture and heritage, reach out new audiences, but access to digital technology is still highly unequal. Meaningful connectivity and just digital inclusion are key, still are key, for cultural citizenship in the 21st century. The gap between knowledge, policy messages, and organized action must be narrowed, particularly in the cultural dimension for the decade of action to reach the SDGs by 2030. We should remember that digital transformation is not a technical issue, but a cultural change. The pandemic has intensified the consumption of digital culture. Since virtually anyone can consume digital cultural content online, practitioners face new profiles of consumer and consumption habits they are not familiar with. That's why we still should work on new solutions in the field of intercultural communication. Moreover, e-culture and health sectors must collaborate and create solutions for complex challenges. Good health and well-being, particularly mental health of the youth, is the first step in co-creating the inclusive, intergenerationally responsible, and empathetic communities. Digital art and digitally born works of art definitely should contribute to people's well-being, social resilience, and justice. Thank you all for your attention. Goodbye.
Thank you, Irena, for sharing your ideas and your statement. Thank you so much. And I would like to invite to my colleague, Mohamed Youssef. He is connected into the Zoom room. He's in Alexandria City in Egypt in this moment. And he is professor and director of the Center of Workshops and Learning in Private University in the city of Alexandria, Egypt. He is independent artist and animator of Ramimed platform of art, science, and technology between Mediterranean countries, African and European countries. Thank you so much, Mohamed, for joining us.
Thank you, Delma, for the invitation. And hello, everybody. I'm so happy to be with you all and to share my personal experience. I will try to be quick. For sure, we are all infected by the change of policies everywhere and in the last decade. So more of trials are individual, a person or a group of person. So we, and that's when I say we, I'm talking about our group pyramid. Which means in French, the International Encounters for Art and Multimedia. We started in 2007, two French colleagues and a colleague from Lebanon and myself to animate this group to try to find some budgets to make workshops for artists, young artists, or who are involved in the question of science, technologies, and art and culture. We have been very successful for somehow, but starting from 8 years or 7 years, we start to not find a budget to animate these events in a regular way. So money became less and less. So we started to go in our platform. We spread the news about residences, technologies, arts, and festivals. And now we are concentrating our activities about the art of the street, digital arts, and new technology. We are also member of the international network of Yasmina, created by the astronaut and Professor Roger Malina in Dallas University, which is spreading all news about art, culture, science, and technologies between North America, Europe, and now they are planning to go to Far East. And we are trying to join them in this new vision. For sure, we are going to the metaverse era. So we are going to live in the virtual. As Professor Scott said, we are going to lose some parts of our human values through the digital and virtual life that are going to live and will be part of. But it's a big challenge for us that we can try to keep our human values and try to do something new and innovative to keep the e-culture on the right process, because it will be a very big problem if we create tools and we use it and we can't feel it. But for myself as an individual, my experience, I'm trying to give my experience, my personal experience that I obtained through years to young artists and young students in the university. As a matter of fact, I work in 2 universities. I'm teaching new media and multimedia and the new technologies and tools in all of these subjects. And I'm happy that if we are going to participate in something like that in the near future, it would be very good act. And that's all that I can contribute with you. And thank you for listening. And I'm enjoying listening to you all. Thank you.
Thank you to you, Mohamed Youssef, for connecting with us from Alexandria, Egypt. Thank you. And thank you so much for all the invitees for your amazing, lovely contributions. Thank you. And in this moment, we continue with the second part of the presentation. Remember that after this event, we continue collecting testimonies and premiering the videos in our social media, YouTube and Facebook Live as well. Okay, continue with our presentation. I would like to share our experiences in these 10 years, more than 10 years of experience in Anisha Cultural Uruguay, or cultural ring in Uruguay, in connection with global networks, etc., etc. And in fact, next November, we will be celebrating 11 years of the network in Uruguay in contact with local region and global networks. Okay. What we are the experience that we collected in this year? One of these is that to grow e-culture field is basic to public policies to grow a sustainable, egalitarian, and peaceful e-culture. Examples that we have in progress and regressions. We understand that, one hand, public policy should make culture grow in a sustainable, egalitarian, and peaceful sense. And that over the years, we have seen examples that have allowed progress to be made, and at the same time, others that are generating regressions. For instance, in Cultural Ring began in 2011, and in the next years, 2013 and 2014, onwards, a series of infrastructure were put in a place within the framework of public internet policies, in particular, access to digitalization, which is very important as it allowed us not only to be in a video conferencing room for those who know the equipment or 8.323 video conferencing system, but also to be in a multiple spaces, location, museums, public spaces, streets, squares, generating content from different places and from not only in the capital, but also in our rural areas, as we have been, or in small communities or villages. However, in the post-COVID period, especially this year, we have seen that this type of work has become more difficult due to a lack of support and, above all, a lack of vision in the aspect that have to do with the makers of e-culture. I am referring to local perception as well as regional and global ones. The next word point is the important to understand it and engaging with the nature of e-culture, because it's a media of convergence. The next one point that we point out is the combination of 6 co-creation, collaboration, co-design, co-invention, cooperation, and contribution for the good. In this aspect, the laboratories, the distributed laboratories, local and global, is very important to generate synergies between the 6 co. The next one point is the importance of the process bottom-up and top-down. This kind of process is very important to generate the engagement of the communities and the support of the public policies as well. Scaling and crossover of both processes that to the richness of the e-culture and the richness of the media. The second one is a very interesting gap, because the IT tools for end users between enterprises and open development local and regional access asymmetries. For instance, an aspect that we are seeing lately is a complex environment of ICT tools or development for end users that have to do with the interoperability of platforms and so on. Obviously, there is always the development provided by companies, but there is also the difficulty of finding open development that allow even more interoperability in the generation of content, especially in terms of local and regional access asymmetries. For instance, situation in the last months, a platform to buy that could be useful for the work of e-culture and above all for multilingual work, for instance, but suddenly there is no access from the Latin America region. There is no access to certain tools with the platform, even for consumption and purchase, but they are dedicated more to sales in the other English-speaking regions or in Arab region, Japanese or Chinese region. And although this same platform is available in Spanish, but some tools are not available for the Latin region are available for the Spanish-speaking European areas. For this reason, we detected local and regional access asymmetries. It's a very interesting gap in this moment. And the last one, but not least, it's very important for us, the e-culture is above all, because we need a perspective of inclusiveness, openness, and democratizing approach to the interconnected human sensibility in the knowledge society. For this reason, we need to build global values in common. Okay, continue with the presentation. I would like to point out the criteria that we have for the global statement that we are building, okay? Building with this crusade, with this global roadmap. And we think that the global statement has 3 important lines. One of these lines is multi-sectoral public policy line, because e-culture is not a sector, it's a multi-sectoral and cross-cutting field. The another one is the line of involvement in the good practices as users and co-creators of the local, it means global and local. It's a syncretism, local e-culture. We need to focus in this point to engage more people and evidence good practices on it. The third contribution from all of you is very important now and in the near future to bring together a broad view on e-culture. For this reason, this crusade is or will be a wide range contribution from all of you. The fourth is not exactly a line, because I would like to point out that the global statement needs to gather key to deepen and broaden examples. One of these examples, of course, are your testimonies in this event, but I would like to point out, for instance, Rihanna theory, Alfredo Ronchi testimonies, and of course, he worked a lot in several definitions of e-cultures. And I would like to mention another one example, like the contract web for Tim Berners-Lee that he launched in 2019. And the contract web you can endorsement in the Web Foundation would make those foundational bases of culture linked to the culture on the internet, or generated through the internet and the use of the web. I supported the contract web, and so did the same cultural ring in Uruguay. I recommend so much this, endorse this contract web of Tim Berners-Lee. There are examples to mention around the creative capacity also of this considering, like mentioned Asia, Mohammed, Khalid Umber, etc., etc. There is the creative capacity that also moves aspects of the global and local economy, therefore the role that all this has within collaboration and co-creation in digital work. Of course, the creativity with artistic matter like Tom Gorman or Claudio Alocchio as well. There are also other examples to take into account from communities linked to internet governance, such as ICANN or Internet Society, etc. These are examples of egalitarian, open, and inclusive networking. These could be the main guidelines that we understand have reached us so far and that we in turn synthesize with our experience and the contribution of all of you. And to finally, I would like to thank you very much for connecting with us, for having been with us today in this activity that has been truly globally, because there have been different references from all the continents that will surely continue to expand more testimonies, more videos, and more instances to share with you and to enrich us together in this global roundup of e-culture for all. Stay tuned for our next communication. We will be releasing the individual videos of each of our invitees, dear invitees, and well as publishing new contribution, recording videos we will be receiving from the second stage of this global roundup and the collaborative construction of the global statement. Thank you so much to all of you for connecting with us.
Thank you, Delma, for your gathering and your effort.
And we continue in the next session in Spanish at 11 a.m. time, Uruguayan time.
Okay. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much to all of you.
Thank you. Good luck. Bye.
We stay tuned. Nice weekend.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you, Asia.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye. We are ending the transmission in social media, and I hope to join you in the next event in Spanish. Thank you so much.